Hey there friends, how's it going? I'm Ben Snow, and today we're gonna take a look at the Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy. We finally got our hands on the footage, and we can now compare it to other versions. And I have to say, I'm very impressed of how good the footage actually looks. Of course, it's not as detailed and as polished as other versions like on PS5 or Xbox Series X or even on Xbox One, but still, I'm really shocked that this game is even capable of running on Switch. It's a very old console, it really needs an update, but regardless, on the screen you can see my comparing shots. Feel free to pause, to rewind, to go forward, just play with it. I just want to kind of give my honest opinion from watching the footage, but of course you choose for yourself what you think about the version. Me personally, what I noticed the most is the lack of detail. But it's not a lack, it's more of the details are different, and also the lighting is very different. The newer engines, the newer games have a lot of complex lighting mechanics, and new consoles are great on running that. But for Hogwarts Legacy, I believe they had to rebuild the engine or certain mechanics of the game that were responsible for visuals, for lighting, for textures in general, and they had to switch for something more basic and generic. I don't know if that's, I'm not a developer. I don't know too many details, but I know a little bit about the Unreal Engine specifically because this was built in Unreal Engine 4. And the fact that it was built in Unreal Engine 4 was a bit easier to scale it down. In every shot, as you see, when I'm comparing, like when it changes to PS5 or back and forth, the detail is not there. I mean, there is detail, but it's in comparison, much less detail. There's not the reflections are not the same. The textures are not that textury, because again, in this version, I'm sure the lighting is gonna behave very, very different from how it behaves in more current games that perform well on current gen consoles. And I noticed that everything is kind of darker. So for example, even in the scene with the dragon or with Rookwood, that footage looks bluish kinda, and overall it's like a colder tone. And on PS5, for example, you see it in more warm tones and in general brighter. Even with Xbox One, it's definitely a few steps behind in terms of visual fidelity. But I think what will matter the most for Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy is that much more people are going to be able to go to Hogwarts. And I guess the best part is that you can bring Hogwarts wherever you go on vacation. Right now we have holidays coming up, a lot of people traveling and, planning for gifts. So I think this is a great time to release such a version. And also another reason why I'm really impressed, because I've seen other games released on Switch like Mortal Kombat, Doom Eternal, and they did not perform well there at all. Well, to be fair, I do see some drastic frame drops, but the thing is, I'm now very used to 60 frames per second, and whenever I switch to fidelity mode, it bugs me. It's too choppy for me. I hate it. It's just because it's simply the eye notices that difference. And once you go 60 frames, you can never really go back. It's like, if you have the new phone, if you ever look at the screen of an old phone, it's like, whoa, it's so stuttery and jittery. The same thing here, right? But before, I didn't really notice that. So it's like, for those who are current Switch players, you guys are gonna love it. This is, I think, amazing port, or I don't really know how to call it, but I think it personally looks great. The most important, of course, is, the game itself is great, I think. And when technology stands in your way while trying to experience the game, trying to enjoy the game, that sucks. And it doesn't look like it's happening here. But of course, we have to actually play the game. That's a different thing. But from what I'm seeing here, it looks pretty good, but I will be making more comparison videos with Switch and other versions once I've played the game on Switch itself. And if you are in the future, you probably can see this video featured right here. And if you want to see the difference between Xbox One and Series X and S versions, check out this video.